Hey guys, today is August 1st and we're out here in a unit that you guys have never seen before. I've only been in here one other time, and that was with my dad when we came out here the first time on June 24th to hang this trail camera, and I'm back in here today to go check it for the first time. So it's been in here a little over a month. Like I said, I hung it on June 24th, and I feel like it should have pictures of pretty much everything that is using this particular area where the camera is. And I think that's kind of the main bedding area of this particular unit and the most isolated place on this spot where I think has the biggest chance of holding a big buck. So basically this unit is surrounded by a river on one side and then agricultural fields on the other, and it's not all that big of a unit. It's pretty good size, but nothing crazy big. But the way it lays out, it's kind of thin and narrow. So although it's not a huge unit, like I talked about in one of my previous videos, you have to look at more than just the size of a unit when you're determining whether you want to hunt it or not. You have to look at overall access, and with this only having one access point on, complete one side, and the way this lays out, and the fact that there's no trails anywhere on this unit, makes this the spot where I have my camera really difficult to access. So I'm hoping that there's some big bucks in there, but we won't know until we go check it, so we better get to it. I've kind of been dreading this hike in for a while just because it is so thick, but I'm excited to see what's on the camera. If you haven't checked it out already, make sure you go to whitetailrendezvous.com and listen to the podcast episode. I believe it's 408 or 409. Bruce interviewed me, and I was really happy with how the podcast turned out. I think we talked about a lot of great topics, and I think a lot of you guys could learn from some of the things we talked about. And one of the things that we brought up was how to get in and out of these marsh areas without spooking all the game out and without really tiring yourself out, if there's an easier way to access these marsh areas. And one thing that I said was you have to use the actual waterways themselves, whether you have a way to float, or like what I'm doing right now is I'm walking along this kind of dried up area that floods probably in the spring, where it's a lot less thick through here, and I can kind of walk. And another benefit of doing this is I'm able to see all of these deer tracks right in here, and I can gain some more information about the deer in this unit when I'm walking this old waterway right here. But that was one of the topics we covered, and I thought I'd talk about it quick here while I'm on this waterway, and just point out that in my experience, the easiest way to access these marshy areas is to get down in the waterways themselves, whether you have a way to float or if you're using hip waders, which isn't near as easy, but it's going to be a lot more quiet. And if you do decide to use the waterways to access those marsh areas, make sure you're doing it safely and really be careful. If you're in waders on some of those oxbow lakes, make sure you're really going slow, and hopefully you have some sort of poking stick so you can really feel the bottom and make sure that doesn't drop out on you. I've heard of people dying in situations like that, and you just want to make sure that you're not a victim of a mistake that could have been avoided. So if you are using the waterways, make sure you be careful, but I would say that's the easiest way to access the marsh. But anyway, if you want to go check out that podcast, that'd be awesome. And support Whitetail Rendezvous and Brunk Outdoors at the same time. I think you'd really enjoy it. But anyway, I'll keep going here and check this camera. This is a big bed, where multiple deer are bedding in this one spot. But it kind of looks like an ideal buck bed. Oh, is that a marker tree? think this tree might have had rubs on it in the past, I can't tell. This could be a buck bed. Pretty cool. Holy cow. I hope those are all deer. Well, I just got done checking all the pictures on this camera, and I can't really tell yet if anything is mature or if I have any target bucks on this area yet. But I'm definitely going to leave the camera out here because of the overall deer number in this area and the quality of deer. You know, there are several nice bucks, at least 3.5 years old, and I'm trying to decide whether there's 2 of them that really pique my interest, and I'm trying to decide whether they're 4.5 or older, and whether I want to shoot those deer. And they're kind of, most of the bucks in this area at least, is that deer? No. Most of the bucks in this area seem to be non-typical, which is kind of cool in my opinion, and several of them really pique my interest right now. I'm just not quite sure on them. I'm on the fence. The first one came in front of the camera like the second day it was out, so he had a lot more growing to do, because it was early July, and the pictures are really blurry, so I don't have very many good pictures of him. But it looks like his right side, he has 2 main beams coming out, which is really cool. And hopefully someday I'll be able to get more pictures of him, but he didn't come back through since that second day it was out. And then there's another buck that came through several times, and he looks like, I don't even know how to age him in the summer right now, but he's got a lot of mass, he's got a lot of potential, but I'm not sure he's going to be quite big enough this year. He's got, you know, really good mass, and then he kind of crowns up. It's really cool. He has really nice crowns where he's got a lot of points ending right there, and it's all really massive, and it's kind of inward facing points, so he's kind of a non-typical and pretty cool looking. I'm just not sure he's going to be quite big enough this year, but definitely going to leave the trail camera out, see what else we can catch moving through this funnel here, and see if we can get more clear pictures of those bucks once they lose their velvet, and I can decide if I want to hunt this area. If I do want to hunt it, this spot where the camera's at is probably going to be a pretty good bet. I have a nice transition line on this property line actually, where there's this grassy area to my right here with, it's kind of an old pasture grassy area, and then there's this strip of hardwoods and marsh timber, and then in front of me there's an open kind of pasture over there about 50 yards away. So it creates a nice funnel here that'll be really awesome during the rut. They're definitely going to run this fence line and come right through here. I'm really confident about that. And then even if I wanted to hunt it outside of the rut, this all around me is great bedding, and I mean, most of the pictures in here are daytime pictures, so all I'd have to do is come in here super early and try to get in here undetected and have a good hunt. But we'll leave this camera out and get out of here, and hopefully it can tell us more in the future and we can decide whether we want to hunt this area. But anyway, we'll get going.